Hello, hello, Texas Teacher here once again, bringing you another discussion in gaming. Today we're going to talk about a slightly morbid topic, but hell, I think it's something everybody's experienced in a video game at some point. One of the first times that people experienced such was in a game called Final Fantasy VII. Everybody's favorite character. Well, most people's favorite characters. A white mage. Girl. Seemed very innocent. Takes a very large katana blade through the chest and dies. But I believe she's stabbed in the back. Anyway, I honestly have never even got to that scene in Final Fantasy VII, but it is a key scene for a lot of people who put time and effort into Aerith only to see her die. So I got to thinking about it. I got to thinking about characters that die in video games, and I picked out Sweet Fancy Moses. This is every game I own that has a death of a main character somewhere in the story. Kind of odd. And it got me thinking about some games do death better than others. And there's, to me, is two types of death of a main character in a video game. There is for a reason, and for no damn reason other than shock value. Let me explain. Start with this one, Shadow of Mordor. Sequel's coming out to it. Shadow of Mordor starts off basically with your death and the death of your family. That is done to start the game in the first damn place, because without your death and without the revenge aspect of it, there would be no game. Therefore, this is a death that has a purpose. Witcher 3. Another damn good game as far as story is concerned. Your mentor, the guy that teaches you everything you know, goes up against the Wild Hunt. They snap his goddamn neck. That death is done with a purpose. To realize what the stakes are if they don't stop the Wild Hunt. And it kind of makes Ciri focus more on the task at hand. Now, let me try to go the other way on it. BioShock. Specifically, we're going to go with the very first BioShock. After you meet Andrew Ryan, the man who had something to do with the creation of the protagonist of BioShock, where you learn about the catchphrase, "Would you kindly?" Now, Andrew Ryan was probably going to die at some point throughout the series of BioShock. I mean, let's face it. The dude has a very big power trip, believes that he is God, basically. He created this perfect place away from any government, morality and science, etc. However, the method of his death, delivered by himself, because he orders you to kill him using the phrase, "Would you kindly?" And he's got a golf club head sticking out of his skull. And he echoes the phrase, "A man chooses, a dog obeys." Now, I'm not saying his death was entirely pointless. It did teach you something. However, that was done more for shock value than anything else. There was no true purpose to that death. Let me bring in a game I talk about quite a bit on different videos. Mass Effect 3. The build-up through Mass Effect 3 is brilliant. And it does bring several stories to a close. Mordin Solus, for example. A man who had something to do with the Krogan getting sterilized. With ending a race, possibly. And his death fixes that mistake. That's done with a purpose. But at the very end of it, Commander Shepard gets onto the enemy ship and has to make a choice. Combine organics with machines, shut down all machines. I mean, you've got choices, but none of those choices involve Commander Shepard staying alive. So there's no true good way to end it. It is one of the shittiest endings in video games. So much so that the company actually had to respond to that. It's a god-awful, terrible ending. There's the good path, the bad path, the path in between. Regardless, he doesn't walk away from any of them. And to me, that seems like it's done with no purpose in mind. Because the whole thing had been built around good endings and bad endings. Yet you're not going to give a good ending, a true good ending, to a series that had got people just fascinated into it. The whole Paragon and Rogue traits are still talked about today. Just, that to me doesn't make any sense. And another one to me that's a bad one. Titanfall 2. It's not even a death of a human person, it's a robot. The main Titan, BT. One of my favorite characters because of his smark and his unintended humor. Basically dies twice. I hate that. Because you get captured towards the end of the game. Spoilers for Titanfall 2. Spoilers for all this. I'll even make sure I put it in the description. But he dies once. Basically. At the very end, you take his eye and you plug it into a little thing, and you've got a gun and you've got, your hacking knife. And the run you do through the compound, where you've got a pistol that'll target people, is one of the most revenge-fueled attacks that I've ever seen in a video game. Because there's a true sense of anger, like, you killed my best friends, you sons of bitches, I'm going to gun you down. And at the end of it, you get your best friend back. You plug his eye into another Titan and boom, BT's on the move. And then they shit all over that by making him have to sacrifice himself at the end. And they're not the only ones that have to sacrifice the damn robot. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Ethan was a great character throughout it, and then he's got to kill himself. And that really just, it's like they're shitting all over just a great story. And they're done for basically just shock value and pulling on your damn heartstrings. And sometimes death's necessary. Understand that. Fallout 4. Your wife's gunned down at the very beginning of it, or your husband, depending on who you choose to play as, a woman or a man. Your significant other's gunned down, creates a revenge plot. I gotta find my family. That's a necessary death. It irritates me to no end, knowing that sometimes people still, it's in movies, it's in TV, it's in comic books, where a character is killed to shock people rather than for a plot point. And sometimes it's a plot point, even though it seems it's not. For example, sometimes a villain like the Joker, for example, shooting someone in the head. That gives you an idea this person is not completely there. The insanity aspect clearly is shown. So, it's my little discussion of death in gaming. Go ahead and tell me your favorite and your least favorite of each one. I'll go ahead and tell you mine. My favorite death in gaming that actually, to me, was perfect. Absolutely perfect. Was, I'm trying to think, I'm going to go ahead and limit myself to the PlayStation 4. Okay? My favorite death, as far as something I feel like did a good justice to the story, was probably, damn it, I've got to talk about this one, because it's, to me, it's the best. The Witcher. The death of the Master. And what's bad is it's been so long since I played it, I don't even remember his damn name. But that death kind of set the stage for what in Star Wars is typically called the Rule of Two. Where you have a master and an apprentice. And it makes Geralt the master now and Ciri the student. At least in my playthrough it did. And I love that aspect of it. That passing down. Now, I will say, that's probably the first death in a long time that's like hit me in the chest. Like I was so emotionally attached to these characters. And then they go ahead and kill him off, and it was just in the saddest way possible, with everybody looking on but helpless because they were frozen and couldn't move. And so that one to me just, oh, that got me so bad. And that even, the emotionalness of his death, the raw emotion caused Siri to basically go Super Saiyan. Where if she didn't watch out, she was going to kill everybody because everybody was bleeding from the ears, the eyes, the nose, because the raw power coming out of her could not be controlled. Now let me go least favorite, and this is actually kind of breaking my PS4 rule here, but Modern Warfare 3. The death of Soap McTavish. That was stupid. It's fucking pointless. Soap was the first character from Modern Warfare 1. He was the one you played as when you were playing with the SAS. Great damn person. You get attached. And then they freaking kill him off in Modern Warfare 3 due to an explosion when an assassination goes wrong. And I hate that. The only thing I will say about it is it did make the finale where you are playing as Price in a suit of armor with a giant machine gun, it made that all the freaking sweeter to me. When you finally get to kill the guy who's basically strung along the Modern Warfare series in an armored suit, punching through a glass floor, letting him die by strangulation, that was my freaking favorite ending, but it was caused by the death of a character who I didn't feel like should have died. But that's one man's opinion. So, like I said, let me know in the comments, favorite death, least favorite death, what motivated you in games after your favorite character died? I mean, did it make you basically go on a revenge killing spree like I did in Titanfall? Because I was determined to kill every last person in that place. I was not going to speed through there. They killed BT. The bastards must go. So, this has been the Texas Teacher for a little gaming discussion. I'm planning on keeping to do these. These are kind of interesting to me. I like them. Anyway, this is... I hope y'all enjoy your day. I've got the windows open. It's a nice, pretty day outside. Hopefully it'll lighten the mood a little bit from all this death talk. Class is dismissed. Have a great day.